Hello, friend. Welcome to another episode of Unfinished. Today on Unfinished, my pants.
We don't.
They only got about halfway there.
Yeah, still working on them.
I'd say a little less than halfway.
That's inappropriate.
You think?
Exposed knee and all.
Yeah, I like to show off my cuts, my bruises,
Okay.
my life scars.
That's not what they mean when they say, "Are you cut? Are you cut? Are you
It's
ripped?"
not?
No, you're.
I've been drinking beer and falling on the ground intentionally.
You're super cut and super ripped.
They mean the must.
Nope, that's not what they mean either.
What do they mean?
I'll tell you after we're done
Oh,
here. Yeah.
cut.
Yep.
All right.
No, that's not. I don't.
All right.
No, it's not.
You
like
said
have
it, Vin
boogers.
Carvella.
Yes, it means
Yeah.
that you have a booger in your nose. Do you have, can you wipe your nose, please? That's production. It's cut. It's production code for do this.
Something else that's unfinished.
Yes.
Brad Shoemaker,
Hello.
what's unfinished?
It's a video series where we look at the Sunset Overdrive is what we have brought you here to hear about.
I've heard about that game.
Yeah?
They released a trailer but a few days ago.
Would you like to hear more?
I would love to. I was watching that trailer and I thought, I'd like to hear more.
Well, let's look at footage of it and talk about it.
Cool.
What do you say?
So, Brad, where'd you get this footage?
Straight from the source, man. This came from Insomniac.
This is not you playing.
No, this is definitely not us playing. Actually, GameSpot had a bunch of extra footage of this for an exclusive they were doing, and they were gracious enough to let us borrow some of it.
So, what are we looking at?
This is pretty much the demo that me and you played. It's pretty much the same areas. And, like, this game is kind of an interesting open-world game with a lot of mutants running around and crazy patchwork weapons
Well, there's a lot of
and grinding on rails and jumping on jump pads.
a lot of traversal, like you said, grinding, but like
Yeah.
this is all just getting around the environment, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. With sick guitar riffs and grinding your crowbar.
There you go. There's the upside down crowbar.
Yeah, like, when I was first playing this, I was like, Tony Hawk, you know, grinding on rails.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people have compared it to, like, Jet Set Radio, which is maybe a little more of an apt comparison.
Especially with this art style that's going on.
Yeah, it's a super saturated, cartoony art style for sure.
It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I think it looks really nice, actually.
But it is the post-apocalypse, as you can see here.
But it's like they keep calling it the awesome apocalypse, which
Okay.
I don't intend to say again.
That's going to stick, Brad. That marketing team, they know what they're talking about.
I'm not going to say that again.
Are there any other humans? I haven't seen any other humans
There
in
are.
this.
We didn't see any of them in the demo. I don't think any of them are in this.
Okay.
But there are other factions, other survivors around the city that will give you missions and stuff.
And we should say, like, when they did come by not too long ago, and I assume it's similar to this build, it was still pretty early.
Yeah. This is a ways off.
They were, this is not finished product. It's in fact unfinished.
Yes, indeed it is. But
At least we're getting a little more into the shooting. What are they, like, fueled, high-octane zombies? Or
yeah,
are they,
yes, they're all amped up. They're
An
juiced.
energy drink
Yes.
zombies.
Yes,
correct?
drinking energy drinks makes you a horrible monster.
well, we knew that,
That's
but
the message of this game.
this is basically bringing that concept to fruition.
Yes. Yeah, everybody here has been mutated or killed by this sinister energy drink.
Yeah.
The company is trying to, so they quarantined the city. The company is trying to cover it up with robotic security. I guess you'll also be fighting a bunch of robots, but also these energy drink mutants. And yeah, it's just kind of a like a larger than life, like cartoony, oversaturated playground.
Where everything's kind of insane. Like
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I got away from putting hands on this game is like you're moving and shooting like this footage is showing right now.
Yeah.
That's the game. Like or like that's what I played. It seemed like what it wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Was like just keep moving.
Yeah.
Just keep destroying things. And as you do that, I think we'll probably see in the footage later on. You're building up combos. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Have they alluded to like what the sort of pacing of the game will be in terms of, are you clearing out areas or?
I mean, we didn't get as detailed as like, are you taking over like territories and stuff like that. But yeah, you're definitely taking missions for multiple factions.
Okay.
And there are a bunch. There's kind of sounds like the full complement of what you would expect out of an open world game in terms of the side activities. Races and challenges and stuff like that. But it sounded like the flow of the game is somewhat non-linear in that you can explore around and find stuff to do.
And so you got your guns, and then you got your your silly guns.
Insomniac reputation for insane weapons.
I think that one they're showing there is
Seems
it's
to
like
be
a nectar gun,
in
right?
full effect.
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
It's the sequel to Haze.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Great, nice cut there.
Yeah,
See,
deep one.
You are cut.
They love to drink that. It's shooting out that energy drink, right?
Yeah.
And then you basically.
Yeah, you can use that as kind of a honeypot to make them all swarm.
I really don't like the word honeypot too much.
It's very evocative,
Yes,
I find.
I find it
perhaps overly so in the wrong
Makes
context.
me kind of sweaty.
Yeah, certainly. Well, we're all about discomfort around here.
And you also have your melee attack.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna kind of get into the combat part of this footage here, crack. There's a lot of comic book style like Biff and Wham and stuff that just shows up in the environment, which I think might be kind of neat.
So many open world games are like apologetically trying to create, you know, ways for you to traverse the world that makes sense in the world. This just seems to not care.
This
it's almost like the city's been made for you to just
run
run
like
around.
this one treats cars as jump pads, you know, like they really don't give a shit. Like I was saying, you know, Insomniac has the reputation for crazy weapons, and I think they said there's like 24 weapons in this, and they're all like weird patchwork constructions built out of just like whatever you could find after the world ends, you know.
I think this one's shooting records.
Yes, this is like an LP launcher.
Do you remember if you could mod the weapons?
I'm not sure. You mean beyond the amps?
Yeah, beyond the
which
amps.
we will get to.
I can't remember.
I want to say there are mods for the weapons themselves, and then there's the amp system.
Okay.
So I think we're kind of seeing some of the amp stuff here. You like to get amped?
What's the amp? I love getting amped. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, brother, have you come to the right place? They've got this amp system, which are amps are like perks, kind of. Some of them correspond to weapon effects. Some of them are for your traversal. Some of them buff the melee attack, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Can you only have one or two at a time or something?
No, so I think it was either 5 or 6.
Okay.
Wasn't it in the demo we played that you could have equipped?
Yeah, they've got the UI turned off and all this.
Yeah, unfortunately the UI is not on here. We saw it in action, but you can equip a handful of them. But the way they work, so that was a level up right there, that little thing. The little kind of sting on your character there. So amps have a level, like level 1, level 2, whatever. And you're building up like a combo meter as you're running around, like traversing and also killing stuff. And every time you level up that meter a full level, the amps that correspond to that level will activate.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So you
almost like kind of like weirdly like kill streaks or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a kill streak thing, except like I said, you can also charge the meter just by traversing.
Yeah, it's almost like a style meter.
Yeah, style is kind of a good way to put it. Like the second you hop on a rail and start grinding or like hit a jump pad, like that meter will go up a little bit.
There it goes again.
And when you're killing and traversing in tandem is when it really fills up like super fast.
Cool.
So it's like a momentum thing, actually. You know, it'll start to depreciate if you don't do anything for a while.
So it's encouraging you to just keep
So basically, the more of this shit you do, the more crazy it's going to get.
This looks kind of great.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like,
particles and stuff. And
yeah, like at a certain point, you know, you'll get stuff like, you get like an electric effect on your melee attack, stuff like that. You know, we saw one top tier amp that the effect was essentially like every shot you take with a ranged weapon has a chance to proc like a giant nuclear explosion. And they equipped it on an AK-47 type of assault rifle, and just like every 5th shot as they were just like spraying into this crowd was just like mushroom clouds going off. It was totally ridiculous.
It's pretty awesome though.
Yeah, it's really cool. But you know, like I said, you have to be at max level for that to work.
They did say they might tweak that one.
Yeah, they said that one might be a little too powerful, but
yeah, like Brad said, you get like elemental effects or stuff like that, like lightning and like I can't remember. There was like an AOE one that was like when you would do the ground pound, it would like kind of
do like
expand out.
Kind of electrical explosions.
Yeah, and I can't remember the thing that the trail behind him. I think was that a customizable color with the
amp? I don't
amp?
think that's an amp. That might be an amp thing. I'm not sure, but yeah, like the little like dash trail behind your character, like you can customize the color of that.
Is there unlimited ammunition?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. If you're a developer, there is.
Right. Okay. At this stage of development, yes. But yeah, like they said they're kind of going all out for character customization, like gender, clothing, hairstyle, and then even stuff like the color that trails behind you as you're dashing around and goofy stuff like that.
Right.
Like I always like being able to I want to decide what color my lightsaber is, that kind of thing. So it's kind of cool they're letting you do all that stuff.
And there are, I don't know if we'll see it here, but I think there are other factions. I know there's
I don't think any of the NPCs are in
There was
this.
like a LARPing faction I saw in the trailer.
There's like a faction that has decided this is like fantasy role-playing and taking over medieval times or something.
Is that the same one as the group of like would-be not trademarked Boy Scouts that found themselves isolated in like the dojo?
I think they're the ones in that dojo environment right here. Yeah, I think this is where they hang out.
Any idea of how big the world is?
They didn't give us any kind of like specifics on, oh, it's like 10 square miles or anything like that. But
even when you were like in the upper areas, could you get a sort of an appreciation
like
for how big
the entire
it is?
city wasn't actually in the demo.
Turned off.
Like there was like a point where the world just ended because it was just a hand, like kind of smaller demo. It seemed pretty expansive though, from what I could tell. Yeah, that totally seems like the type of amp that you would see, you know, having a shockwave like that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was.
They made it sound like, you know, they didn't say like, oh, there are 800 amps in the game or anything like that, but it sounded like there's a ton of customization you can do for the different effects you want to have.
And then the demo we saw, some of the world wasn't populated yet, so
yeah,
it was like, you know, certain areas were still under construction. I'd say.
Oh, I feel like I should point out there's kind of a fairly generous auto aim on your weapon.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the case as much when you're on foot, but when you're on these rails, they made the kind of salient point, like it would be impossible to aim at stuff while you're like zooming around and jumping on jump pads and all that stuff. Like,
and it seems like you're attacking mobs most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So like, you know, why not just give it a bit of...
There are boss battles. I think we'll see it.
Yeah, there's a boss fight coming up here in a second. You know, I don't think that the auto aim extends to stuff like that launcher necessarily, but for something like the assault rifle, you need to more or less point it in the right direction, but not, you don't have to hit exactly.
I saw in the trailer that it was like it's like a megaphone that shoots like TNT teddy bears.
I think you're seeing that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what did you make that yourself, or is that just a weapon?
I don't think
in the
you
game?
craft it or anything. I'm guessing you just kind of get it. These are some like turrets that you can get.
Just have pistols.
Yeah, just like a pistol hanging from a. The weapon stuff kind of almost reminds me of like Dead Rising. You know. It's just a bunch of household objects cobbled together, and
but you don't actually
some lethal bullshit.
You don't think
you're duct taping
I don't think you're like finding materials though. But again, I'm pretty sure there's some weapon customization that goes on.
Yeah, like when the action was hitting and when you were moving, it felt awesome. Like these guys are playing pretty well here. Like when I got my hands on it, I was super clunky and just like falling off stuff, and like couldn't get the combos going as well.
Yeah, the build that we played was like 2 or 3 months old. They said they've added a lot of stuff, like a lot of tweaks to make the traversal stuff better. Like in the build I played, there was no way to automatically reverse direction on a grind.
Right.
And they said they've added a bunch of stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, you hit one button and you'll just flip direction.
But even that being said, like when I did connect and when I did get it, it was really rewarding.
Yeah.
Like it felt like I was playing the way I was supposed to be playing, right? Like this is super awesome. I'm the biggest, you know, hot shit there is out here, and then all of a sudden I'd fall off a grind and, you know, get swarmed by monsters.
I feel like you get a handle on it pretty fast. There's some stuff you can do for like getting up higher like you have a wall run, so you can kind of wall run onto something and then jump off that onto a jump pad and jump up and then wall run again. You know, like
do you gain momentum or anything?
Not really that I saw, but I mean, you don't have any kind of there's no like infamous or prototype style, just like, you know, clear a building in a single leap or whatever. But you can still work around that with the tools you've got. That's the ridiculous mushroom cloud thing that is probably like.
So when that was going off every 5 seconds.
Imagine like every third enemy we were shooting, setting that off.
How was the frame rate when that happened?
It was fun. I mean, it was about like this. You know, this is basically how it ran.
How far out is this?
They haven't released a date yet, but
it's not this year, is it?
Yeah, well, they haven't said. Here's the boss, who talks a bunch of shit at you the whole
I'm getting
time.
a weird Bioshock Infinite vibe of this now with the rail and the blimp trailer they put out that time.
I guess that's sure, maybe a little bit.
Like to me, it just is like it feels a little like Ratchet and Clankish.
Yeah, you definitely get that vibe from it for sure. Also, they love their respawn animations.
So they're like random and you get a different.
Yeah, like every time you die, you
come back to the world. And
they showed a bunch of these in the trailer. There's some pretty good ones. Like I don't know how many are in there. They said it's quite a few. Like it would kind of need to be because, you know, otherwise, like if it's only like half a dozen, then you kind of see them all.
I think this is my favorite one.
Yeah, this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, did they give any reason as to, like, there has to be some sort of setup narratively for how that's even happening?
How you're coming in?
Like,
on a
are they
rocket
just
ship?
saying this is a video game?
It is a video game.
It's a pretty goofy world.
Okay.
I don't think they're too worried about it.
Okay.
I don't know that logical consistency is high on the list of priorities for this game.
I think this is just like dev test.
Yeah,
stuff, right?
you know, they had given GameSpot some pretty robust B-roll. for weapon tests and stuff. And you know, how often do people get to see like to test areas for
Yeah,
video
that's
game
awesome.
weapons?
I don't think this is in the game necessarily.
No, it's definitely not in the game. But you know,
this is
that
them.
would be cool for people to see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
This is the final level, I heard.
Oh yeah, this is where the last boss fight
Like, I
takes
wouldn't
place.
be totally surprised if, like, you know,
If
some
you
of
could
this stuff.
spawn this and like
Yeah.
just fuck around with
I don't know
stuff.
about the blue billboards that just say advertising on them, but, like, you know, I think, you know, if you had, like, a test chamber room for weapons.
Sure.
It's cool. I love how
Especially-
they actually have just physical distance markers, not they're just like they're not like calculating them within the engine or anything.
Man, video game
quite
development's a serious business.
Yeah, especially if you wanted to test out different amp combinations and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you need a
Yeah, I
bunch
can
of
see
enemies.
that. They did make it sound like
I really like that.
maybe post game, like once you. I'm going to pause here for a second. Like once you had beaten the game, they might turn you loose and like, you can kind of use all your amps now or something
Right.
crazy like that. Like, give you a lot more freedom to just fuck around and be all powerful.
They talk about any multiplayer or co-op stuff.
Oh, it's well, I think there may be more to come on that, but like the stuff we're looking at here is all single player.
Cool.
And then I don't know if this is final footage or not, but they've got some just a bunch of shots of character stuff in here.
Oh, some of the customization.
I have to imagine this is not final like UI
That guy's pants are
and
finished.
stuff. But you think so?
Yeah.
He's good on those pants.
He's got a bit of duct tape on him actually as well, which I can appreciate.
yeah.
Yeah, there's infamous second son.
yeah.
All right. Animation's great on all this as well.
I like that chain. Oh,
Whoa.
oh,
What was that about?
unfinished. That's
Angry
a
mob.
lady.
I asked him if he'd be able to change like gender and facial stuff and whatnot in the middle of the game. They sounded like they were still working on that stuff.
Yeah, you gotta
panel, yeah.
commit, man. Oh, I like those. I like the armor.
Cobbled together from the ice hockey pads.
I like to customize.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Did
Yeah.
they say if you would be able to, aside from gender and stuff like that, just find new outfits during the game,
Like full-on sets or whatever.
or just like a
wouldn't
new
be
shirt or something
surprised.
like that, like while you're playing the game?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would hope so.
I mean, I would think, yeah.
That's a sick.
Well, I mean,
hat.
like, I doubt all this stuff is available from the get-go.
Right.
If that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm implying.
Oh no! I can't imagine they just give you all this stuff. I'm sure that's.
Unicorn straight away.
Come on, man! It's an open world game. You got to work for this
You
stuff.
gotta do something,
You have to
right?
go find it.
Yeah.
You got to collect. Anyway, yeah, like I kind of had no idea what this game was. I'm just gonna skip ahead before they brought it by.
Oh, we're back to the start.
But seems like my kind of game. You know, just like doesn't take itself seriously. A lot of freedom to run around and be nimble and kill lots of stuff and kind of customize how you're playing.
I think what I'm just gonna need for this game is a clear objective and varied
Yeah.
objectives. Because like you know, something like Crackdown, right?
Yeah.
Like in Crackdown 2, I thought was an awesome setup, and then just kind of for me lost interest because you kept doing the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again, right?
Yeah.
So I just need for them. All they have to do is provide good objectives for me
Right.
to go through in this
Yeah,
world and do, and
I
then I
kind
think
of
I'm
had
in.
the same issue with the new Infamous to some extent, but yeah, we didn't see what the mission design is going to be like in this, other than that boss fight,
All right.
which was a reasonably interesting boss fight, to be fair.
Like at the end of the day, these types of games like live or die on their combat mechanics.
Absolutely, and how interesting the objectives are.
Right, like as long as it's not like now go destroy the slurm generator number 7.
Right.
Like, okay, well,
Nice work. Yeah. I hope Slurms McKenzie is in this.
good one.
you know, we're pulling out all the references here. It's a combined effort. Real brain trust going on.
Yep.
I really did like the moving
Yeah,
mechanics.
yeah. I think the core, the fundamentals seem pretty on point. It's probably the most interested I've ever been in an Insomniac game.
What?
There is a weird thing
You're
about
like a
that.
kind of a monster, huh?
It's
I don't know,
funny
I just-
how, like, having a human character, or just not having a character as the center point,
Yeah.
kind of makes it a little bit more interesting. I don't know.
I don't know. I never played the Ratchet games, and
Ever?
not
Like, how did you miss them?
I don't know,
They were everywhere.
Oh, man. There are
They
a lot of
were
video
everywhere
games.
for quite a long
A lot
time.
of video games coming out all the time.
And you never played the Resistance stuff?
No, not really.
Wow. You know, Brad, they make some pretty good games.
No, I'm not saying they don't, but
I never liked the Resistance.
happen to really
stuff
like this
and-
kind of game, and I'm glad to see them making one. Yeah, I think this looks really promising. Again, you know, need to see more of it, but I'm sure they'll be showing more of this stuff at E3.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll just reiterate those watching this. This footage is pretty early.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, if it happens to seem like it's missing sound design or music or stuff like that, it is still pretty early.
It is unfinished.
And there you go. Yep. There you have it.
Unfinished.
There you have it.
Loop it right back around.
Yep.
Thanks, Danny O'Dwyer. That's why we bring you in here.
Brad, what's the name of your game? When's it coming out?
Sunset Overdrive, sometime. We don't know yet. But yeah, I think it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Brad, for coming on the show and showing us.
Thanks for having me, Danny.
Sunset Overdrive.
Hell of a demo.
I'm gonna go work on my pants here.
Okay, yeah. Once you finish those.
Yeah, these legs are getting a bit too tanned. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah, the studio lights are hot.
Yeah.
It's blinded over here.
Don't forget where I'm from.
Bye.
Video games.